we had bunk beds in our cabins, and it was going up to the top bunk, and we had one choice, and we had to swim out of our cabins.
No one thought that that water could do all of that damage in such a short amount of time. Camp Mystic's the safest place I've ever known, and I just couldn't believe it. So it was devastating.
In this circumstance, and in a once-in-a-century flood where you get 12, 14 inches, where you get a 26 to 30 foot increase in water in the course of an hour and a half at 4 to 6 o'clock in the morning on a holiday, and that's what we're dealing with in these circumstances and where those camps are.
Why weren't these camps evacuated?
I can't answer that. I don't know.
Well, you're the judge. I mean, you're the top official here in this county. Why can't you answer that? There are kids missing. These camps were in harm's way. We knew this flood was coming.
We didn't know this flood was coming. Rest assured, no one knew this kind of flood was coming.
I'll shout it from the mountaintops, praise God. I want my world to know the Lord of love has come to me. I want to pass it on.
We are outside of the school that is serving as a reunification center. Many of those young girls have been brought here by bus or airlifted here, and they have been reuniting with their families.
We will do everything humanly possible 24/7. Looking at every tree, turning over every rock, whatever it takes, if your child is one of those truly missing and not just out of touch, to find your daughter.
This has been a nightmare holiday weekend already for the people here in Central Texas.
Today will be a hard day.
Hopefully we can find our children, our daughter and her friends alive. I ask you if you would pray, and whoever watches this thing, pray.
Last time it was this bad, and this one is even worse than that, was 1987. You can't predict it. Everybody in the media even knows, everybody who does this and sees this every single day, you have the inverse effect of, if you continue to push it, and you see this in Houston areas all the time, you cry wolf.
The National Weather Service over the years at times has done well, and at times we have all wanted more time and more warning and more alerts and more notification. That is something, and one of the reasons that when President Trump took office that he said he wanted to fix, and is currently upgrading the technology, and we will do all we can to fix those kinds of things that may have felt like a failure to you and to your community members.
I continue to ask everyone who sees this today to pray for Kerrville and Kerr County.
Increase in storm damage and rainfall and flooding in other regions of the state of Texas that were in addition to the ones that were in the disaster declaration that I made yesterday. What I'm going to sign today is an expanded disaster declaration that adds the following counties to what I signed yesterday. This disaster declaration includes Bexar County, Burnett, Caldwell, Guadalupe, Travis, and Williamson counties. We will continue to add counties as needed, as conditions either worsen or improve in counties across the state of Texas. We will ensure that every asset and resource the state has is going to be made available to every county that's the subject of this disaster declaration.
What I can tell you is there's still 27 missing. We have recovered some additional bodies at this time. We're trying to identify at this time. What I can tell you, an update, there's 32 deceased. 18 of those are adults and 14 are children. 5 of the adults remain unidentified and 3 children remain unidentified. We are still working on that this time. As I said earlier this morning, the numbers are going to continue to change. They're going to continue until we're done. It's been a very good day as far as being out there and being able to do some things, and we've got a lot done.
Is there any indication that there are still people out there alive? Any evidence?
History would tell us that after a certain time period, those chances diminish, and we can talk about all of the numbers and the metrics on that. Our hope and prayer is that there are still people alive that are out there, and we are still actively searching for them, and we will continue. And listen, that will turn into recovery at some point, and none of us want to put a time period on that right now. But when you talk to the men and women that are up there in those helicopters and out in those boats and walking the ground, they're looking for live people right now and doing everything they can to continue this search as fast as possible.
That could shed light on what happened almost a week ago as one of the worst natural disasters in recent memory began to unfold. Dispatch audio from Central Texas about a half hour before the first emergency warning was issued for the hardest hit county along the Guadalupe River. Now, the first call we have is from a firefighter at 3:37 a.m. local time. The calmness of his voice is remarkable, all things considered.
Yes, ma'am. Just for your 43, the Guadalupe is starting to come up, and Shoemaker is no longer passable at this time.
That's the Guadalupe River rising, and one of the main streets flooded. And from that point on, as the audio shows, problems were growing fast.
Respond to 2029, Highway 39, 2029, Highway 39. It's going to be for a water rescue. House callers, house flooded. We're getting multiple calls off of 39. People are stating their houses are flooding. We're trying to advise them to get to higher area.
Now, the next piece of audio is of what we reported on last night, a firefighter requesting an emergency alert be issued to the community, and the dispatcher not able to make that call.
Is there any way we can send a code red out to our Hunt residents asking them to find higher ground or stay home?
10-4, standby. We have to get that approved with our supervisor.
Well, as we reported last night, it would be 90 minutes from that call to when Kerrville's mayor told the Texas Tribune that he finally received a code red alert. Now, during that time, the Guadalupe River would overflow in a wall of water several stories high at its peak, and the 911 calls would just keep coming.
We received a phone call at our fire station to have a lady, she's frantic. She's at Casa Bonita 117 Corto Way or Casa Bonita Lodges, and she said her children are on top of one of the cabanas and they're trapped.
Well, the area is home to many summer camps, as you know. This one, boys rode out the worst of it in the rafters of their cabin when water reached the top of their bunks. Camp Mystic for girls, though, was, of course, the hardest hit. This is a new image of some of the evacuation efforts early on. In a moment, we'll be joined by one of the staffers who was there that night and took this photo. But as would become clear, though, 27 campers and staffers, many of the campers as young as 8, tried to get out and didn't make it. And when daylight came, a few hours later, the true dimensions of it all became clear. In addition to all the dead, dozens and dozens of people missing. And tonight, they still are. Upwards of 160 people, in addition to the 120 plus fatalities. And as to that dispatch audio, tonight the man who recorded it and helped install Kerr County's Code Red system spoke with CNN's Aaron Burnett about the timing of the alerts that followed.
So are you saying as early as 3:27 a.m. that that things could have played out very differently in terms of alerts and code reds and frankly, just to be blunt, hundreds possibly of lives saved?
Well, it's too late for Hunt. The water's up, and the volunteer fire department guy's been there. He knew it was coming because he's awake and he's sitting in his truck looking at it. But the water's come up, and the wall of water is heading down to Ingram. So you hear some radio traffic in a little bit that's going to warn people that warn to tone out Ingram that they need to start evacuating the RV park downriver. And I fully believe that a really quick action could have, and I'm not going to hindsight it all, but a quick action could have helped people downriver. But at 3:30, once it hit 4:30, it was just too late. The code red would have been ineffective, in my opinion.
Isaiah chapter 29 and verse 6, and it reads, "Thou shalt be visited of the Lord of hosts with thunder and with quake and great noise, with storm and tempest and the flame of devouring fire." First, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Yahweh, Bashem, Yahweh Shai, Bashem, Rakah, Kudash. Double honor to the mighty men, the elders, the apostles in the community, waking up the lost sheep, the house of Israel in these last days. Peace and blessings to everyone doing this truth and humbleness and sincerity. Again, I'm going to say shalom, and this is your brother Yawasap, coming at you with another video, and going to stick to this topic of the Lord visiting the earth. Okay, now we coming off 4th of July, right? Okay, that was last Friday. Okay, I want to go into the severeness of how the Lord, he had his hand in, that judgment on America, right? And I don't think the so-called Babylonians that follow or subscribe to, the dogma of Christendom or Christianity, happy chaos. Is that really helping America in today's time? We're already in World War III, okay? And the Lord is visiting this earth, okay? The Lord is emphatically visiting this earth, and the weather phenomenons isn't new because America emphatically took the true children of Israel and made them captives to this very day. And that's why the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob is judging America. And he's going to continue to judge America. We're going to stick, to the topic, the weather phenomenon. You look at the videos post, those the flood waters were just unprecedented, and they're still counting. They're still looking, they're still looking for bodies this very day. Okay, they're still trying to find bodies from, this aftermath. But again, this was the Lord's judgment on America. And, I could take it to the whole war, the war conflicts out there. That's also a judgment on this kingdom, because America is an extension of the Roman Empire, okay? America is emphatically an extension of Rome. Rome hadn't truly failed, but it's going to fall on the day of the Lord, okay? So I want to get some scriptures going into the weather and the handling, okay? The handling of that storm was just as bad. And I'll let you know, anyone that says they're saved just believing on God without keeping the commandments as Happy Chaos promotes in his Sunday worship facilities, y'all, it's like you got it all wrong. Okay? You're not saved by anything, especially under this government. You can forget it. There were literal services available to kind of help the people, but when you listen to the video, I think that's AC360. He's the host of AC360. That so-called what's his name? Anderson Cooper, whatever. When you look at his post, that's pretty bad. Okay, that's really bad, and that's America. It's not as good as advertised. But we're gonna go into some scriptures, and I'm gonna wind this thing down. Salakia. Let's read. I'm gonna read Isaiah 29:6 again, because a lot of these Americans keep pushing, oh, Mother Nature, Mother Nature. You will never find Mother Nature in this oracle. Okay, you won't find it. It's not there. We're gonna revisit Isaiah 29:6, and it reads, "Thou shalt be visited of the Most High of hosts with thunder and with earthquake, and great noise, a storm and tempest, and the flame of devouring fire." And you had all those tangibles play out during the flooding phenomenon. That was Texas and I believe New Mexico. That's where the severe flooding, was taking place. And again, it's the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob judging America, and is also mocking America for believing in happy chaos here. Okay, believing in this nonsense. Okay, what I teach for you newcomers is who the 12 tribes of Israel are. Okay, salvation is only for the scattered 12 tribes. It's not a color thing. It's a bloodline thing. Okay, but the bulk of the Israelites, for the most part, are going to be people of color. But you will have Hebrew Israelites that may look like the other nations. Okay, but the majority of the scattered 12 tribes would be so-called people of color, but it's not a color. It's not a color only thing. It's not a Negro only. That's silliness. It's not that. But in these last days, okay, America has entered into World War III. All types of violence and weather phenomenons, all types of judgments are going to continue to hit America into that great prophecy in Exodus, the 17th chapter. Not Exodus. Well, that as well, but Revelation 17, that's the big one. That's the one that most of us are praying for, when the nations turn on the United States of America and, the Lord, Slakia. And the Lord finished the judgment and rang in the Exodus, the 12 tribes of the children of Israel, because salvation is chiefly for the 12 tribes of the children of Israel, not all nations. Okay, but on to these precepts dealing with the weather, and I'm gonna wind it down. Let's read Psalms 83 and 15. Let's get the book of Psalms 83 and verse 15. And shalom to the 12 tribes of the children of Israel scattered abroad. Shalom to the 12 tribes of the children of Israel scattered. Okay. We're reading Psalms 83 and verse 15. It reads, "So persecute them." Actually, I'm going to start at verse 14. It says, "As the fire burned wood, as the flame setteth the mountains on fire, Verse 15. So persecute them with thy tempest and make them afraid with thy storm. And that's what you see. Okay. I believe America is currently in what we would call hurricane season. And we've yet to get hit by one of those things yet. And when you study the patterns of these hurricanes, tropical storms, they all take identical patterns as the slave passages, okay? And that's worldwide because the 12 tribes of Israel was scattered to the four corners of the earth, and that was also a curse on the literal children of Israel, okay? When you really, Slocky, when you look into that, when you go into the patterns of what the slave ships were dispatched, chiefly around the 14th, 15th, 16th century, all the way to at least the 17th, 18th century, the Israelites were being scattered across this whole planet. Okay, let's read on. Let's read the book of Isaiah 28:2. Let's read the book of Isaiah 28 and verse 2. Isaiah 28:2 reads, Behold, the Lord hath a mighty and strong one, which is as the tempest of hell and a destroying storm, as a flood of mighty waters overflowing shall cast down to the earth with the hand. Okay, I'm going to read that again. This is basically saying the Lord, like I brought out in Isaiah 29:6, it's a similar precept. The Lord is behind these judgments, okay? And he had the Edomite saying, pray, but America don't pray to the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. America pray to happy chaos, Caesar Borgias, and that's why they're being judged. That's why America's being judged, and it's really too late now. It's over for America. They're dealing with these internal judgments on top of World War III, and it's not going to end well. I'm going to read this again. Isaiah 28 in verse 2 says, Behold, the Lord hath a mighty and strong one. Slack it. Isaiah 28:2. Behold, the Lord had a mighty and strong one, which is as the tempest of hell and a destroying storm, as a flood of mighty waters overflowing shall cast down into the earth with the hand. Okay, and that's just going into the Lord's judgment. Let's get Isaiah 45. I believe that's 7. I want to show y'all something. So a lot of newcomers are not aware of this. They're not aware of this, excuse me. Let's get Isaiah 45 and 7. Most Christian pastors, they would never read this verse. Okay, they would not read this verse. This is one of the gems in this oracle about who creates good and evil. Okay, you can get a full account when you read the Job account. You know the historic account of Job and the trial that was bestowed on him, but he held on to the Most High until he was delivered of the trial, and he was blessed like 3 times over, threefold. Everything he lost, he really got back. Okay. Isaiah chapter 45. I'm going to read on Isaiah 45 I'm going to start at verse 5. It reads, I am the Lord, and there is none else. There is no God beside me. Okay. I girded thee, though thou hast not known me. Okay. And this is really the Most High going into rebellious Israelites who he cast away. Okay. Again, when you're going into this oracle for you newcomers, from Genesis to Revelations, okay, the Lord is on dealing with the scattered 12 tribes of the children of Israel, okay? And he did scatter them because they didn't keep the law. And we suffer that curse when you read Deuteronomy 28 all the way down to 68. And until Yahweh HaMashiach deliver us from the hands of the enemy, we still under that curse, okay? Let's read. Isaiah 45 and verse 5. Again, I am the Lord, and there is none else. There is no God beside me. I girded thee, though thou hast not known me. They that may know from the rising of the sun and from the west that there is none besides me. I am the Lord, and there is none else. Verse 7, this is the point. I form the light and create darkness. I make peace and create evil. I, the Lord, do all these things. So there you have it. If you follow the dogma under Christianity, they have you believe Satan is some red guy with a pitchfork under the ground, which is that's Greek mythology. Hell, when you go into the conditions of hell in the scriptures, it's just a condition on the earth, really on the children of God, because they were cast down, okay? And we're in the hands of the enemies. So hell will be a condition on the earth. That's a lesson, that's an entire lesson for another day. But hell is a condition on the earth. It's no red guy with a pitchfork, poking you forever and ever, and you're in and out of, lava and fire, all that stuff, how they push it. It's just a bunch of Disney fables. The hell on earth is a condition for the Israelites while we still in captivity. But once Yahweh HaMashiach make his presence felt, that's going to be the end of that. And that's going into the deliverance of the people, going into the remnant and the elect body, the children of Israel. Let me see if there's any more. I don't want to make this video too long, okay? But I just want to address, the God Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. He's visiting this earth, and he's going to continue to visit this earth until the day of the Lord. The Father, okay, it's currently the Father visiting the earth, but once the Son visits, he's going to come with the chariots, and he's going to destroy this place, right? Let's read, let me see. Let's get Psalms 11 and 6. I'm almost done. Reading out of Psalms 11 and verse 6. We're going to start at verse 5. The Lord tried the righteous, but the wicked and him that loveth violence, his soul hated. Verse 6. Upon the wicked he shall rain snares, fire and brimstone, and horrible tempest. This shall be the portion of their cup. Okay? And again, America don't subscribe to the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. They subscribe to happy chaos. That's who America subscribes to. And if you keep following this fable, see that mushroom cloud? Again, family, aside from the aftermath of the flooding, a different type of judgment, or should I say a different flood is going to hit America. It's going to be these nuclear missiles. I'm going to always push that. Okay? 5 months from now, that's if we even get to it. America enters into 250. Okay? With the scriptures or without the scriptures, history shows no kingdom recorded has succeeded beyond 250 without being destroyed. Okay? So it's urgent for Israelites in the knowledge of the truth to keep the commandments, and for newcomers, hold on to this truth. Okay? Because Judgment Day is coming for the United States of America. You see, they're not going to repent, man. They're going to continue to work in sorcery and wickedness until the Lord take them down. Okay, like the Lord hardened Pharaoh's heart, the elites, your president-elect, all them puppets in Congress and D.C., okay, their hearts are hardened. You see how they treat brown people. They're not changing. And the Lord's coming to shut this place down. And he's going to burn it away with floods of fire. Okay, when these bombs drop. And as it's written in Slakia, Revelations 18. The Lord's going to finish this place off, man. But I want to share something before I end this video. Okay. I'm preparing a Rumble video. This is a YouTube video. I want to go into, how America deceived the world, but that's going to be a Rumble video. And I'm trying to get my followers to really get those subs, get my subscribe numbers up on Rumble. Because I feel Rumble is a way better platform than YouTube. They're not as biased, man. Okay? My Rumble is Israel 144X. Okay? Rumble.com. Israel 144X at Rumble.com. So I'm preparing a video. It'll go up sometime, hopefully, at the start of the new week. But I want to share this, and I'm going to wind this video down. Okay. Let me pull this account. I definitely want to share this with y'all. This is for a sign in the wonder. This is a great book to have if you're in this truth. I've had this book for many years. It's not an oracle. I think it should be. It's full of precepts. The only negative is that you might run into some lost books, which I don't really subscribe to those lost books. But as far as precepts and history, this booklet covers an overload of heavy truths and documentation. Okay. But I want to share, for a sign and wonder, page 327, regarding the current state of the scattered 12 tribes of Israel. And I'm going to end this video. Page 327, I'm going to read, is up to 4 paragraphs, and I'm going to wind this video down. It says, currently, racism against so-called blacks is epidemic, especially in America, okay? a nation people with Gentiles who claim to know the God of Israel. How many of these Christian Gentiles see the plight of true Israel today? Okay, and we all know what's going on out there right now. And look on the indifference or contempt. How many people support a system steeped in oppression? Okay. How many justify the murders of unarmed Israelites by the very people sworn to protect and serve all citizens? And he's going into, excuse me, he's going into how law enforcement continually harass people of color, plant evidence, and this is across the 50 states, plant evidence in poor people's vehicles and lock them away for life. Okay, that's what he's going into. And I always put this out on my videos. Show me evidence of law enforcement in America harassing rich so-called white people or Israeli American citizens. Okay, that's like the ICE video I did. ICE not going into Israeli American neighborhoods. They're not going into so-called rich white neighborhoods. ICE is, they gun-ho on brown and Latino communities and Native American communities. Okay, so there's a condition there. Okay, let's read on. How many troll Israelite messages brought night and day, stalking and cursing the Most High's chosen? Okay, one cannot claim to love Israel's God while hating his people. This will be an impossible pill for bigots and racists to swallow, which is why there will be much weeping and gnashing of teeth at the end of the age, which we're seeing. How many people died in this flood? Over 130 and counting. And the number's probably bigger than that, because they worship the devil that the Bible speaks of. Okay, this is not the Son of Man. You read Revelations, the first chapter, I'd say 1:13 to at least 15. Well, it's not happy chaos. This is post Christopher Columbus. That's what this is. And America pushes that. Okay, and America's being judged. Okay, because the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob is visiting the earth now. Okay. It says, for thousands of years, the world has begun, from the top, it says, for thousands of years, the world has been deceived into worshiping a false Messiah, peddled in the form of Caesar Borgia. Okay. This isn't the Son of Man. This is a depiction of Caesar Borgia. And when they iconoclast and had their Renaissance, they whitewashed the images and they begin to break the noses of Egyptian statues and whatnot. Not just there, but around the globe. Upholding what they know, what they call white supremacy. Or should I say red supremacy? There ain't no such thing as a damn white man. There ain't no such thing as black people. Let's read on. Excuse me. It says, this deception extends to the impostors currently occupying the Holy Land, people whom Christendom has embraced. So how will those who've been worshiping a false image, blessing the wrong people and cursing the Most High elect fare? Only God knows the heart. However, unless they repent and turn away from their lying idols, they will face his wrath, not just on the day of the Lord, but also the judgments that are happening today. Okay, look around you. The world and America in particular is currently being judged. That's plain. Okay, Hebrews 12, 16 and 17. Ain't no repentance for the children of Edom. Okay, again, Edom isn't always so-called white people. You got Edomites with brown skin. Okay? It's based on your father's seed line. That's Numbers 1 and 18. Yes, you have Edomites with dark skin, and you have Edomites. You learn that when you go into, I think that's Genesis 32 on up, how Esau mixed in with the nations, okay? So it's not always a brown and red thing. They mixed in just as much as Jacob, okay? To keep it a buck, okay? Some of us in the knowledge and truth, like myself, I've searched my pedigrees, okay, and thank the Lord, Mama and Papa, they kept the archives. Their fathers were so-called slave descendants, okay, and that's very important. And some of us have that. Some people subscribe to the whole Ancestry.com. That's really false, okay. It's already gone out. There was a video where they were using Ancestry.com to really track actual slave descendants just to keep an eye out on them, okay. That's all that was about. There's no real truth to the whole DNA of being mixed with this group and that group. How Ancestry.com promoted was false, okay. DNA tests to me are false because they will need the actual DNA of Yahweh Shai and all the prophets, okay, which they don't have, okay. Let's read on. Let me close this out. Last chapter, okay? No, last paragraph, excuse me. This is an appeal to any Christian Gentile reading this book. Repent and seek the Most High while there is still time. The same goes for the lost sheep of Israel who either deny the Messiah or remain entrenched in the false religion of Christianity, included Israelites who don't stop sinning and halting their own people or hating their own people, as well as African American preachers who refuse to stop teaching Christendom. Christendom is another term for the dogma of Christianity. It's witchcraft, it's sorcery, okay? That's the worst one on this planet out of all of them. I mean, Islam isn't for us, but at least if you go into Islam studies, they tell you to do the history. In Christianity, you go in a demon and you stay a demon. You can have shrimp, crab, pork, party. You can do all types of sorcery. I mean, you can do whatever you want in Christianity. And while you're in sin, as they promote, you can get salvation. It's total insanity. Okay, and I thank the Most High every day. He took me away from Christianity. Because even trying to go to church on Sunday, my spirit wasn't there. I was like, I have to get out. And the Most High pulled me out. Okay? All praises. Let's finish this up. Read this again. It says, the Most High, while there is still time, the same goes for the lost sheep of Israel who either denied the Messiah or remain entrenched in false religion. I think he's talking about those Old Testament onlys in that one. It says Christianity included. Israelites who don't stop sinning and hating their own people, as well as African American preachers who refuse to stop teaching Christendom, false doctrines, despite being told the truth, will also face everlasting wrath of the Creator. Amos 9 and 10, okay? He left a precept there. Our Father is a just God. If he didn't blink when he punished the apple of his eye, Israel, which we're still going through those curses, okay? It says, for their sins, how much more will he punish Gentiles who do Israel harm, especially those who claim salvation through Jesus in one breath? That's talking about these apologetics, and they're the biggest clowns on the planet. They push that apologetic doctrine, which is this nonsense right here, and in the same sentence you can still be in sin and just through belief with no faith, without keeping the law, get the kingdom. That's insanity. Don't Paul tell us the wages of sin is death? But you got idiots like Vocab Malone, Bible Flock Box, you can name them, okay? The mega church pastors, okay? Osteen, okay? Creflo Dollar. The list goes on and on. You could stay in sin, prosperity gospel, and get the kingdom, and be in sin in the same sentence. It makes no sense. Okay. It says, he punished Gentiles who do Israel harm, especially those who claim salvation through Jesus in one breath, while spewing hatred against the true children of Israel in another. And you see that. Okay. There's this guy, I forget the pastor's name. I forget this guy's name. I had a brain freeze. He was attacking the Israelites for being on the corners teaching. Okay. Geno Jennings, that's his name. He even mocked
cheap, dirty, filthy, ungodly black skin. Go ahead. They ain't nothing but outward Judaism talk.
something about skin tone. He went on a rant about the Israelites. But the Israelites on the corners are the actual people teaching. Okay? Especially my brothers with One West. The One West camps, the camps of Mashar Yasha'Allah. That's the real deal. A lot of people hate it, but they're telling the truth. They're telling the basic truth. If you don't repent and come home to being a Hebrew Israelite, you're going to be destroyed. Okay? But, the point of this lesson was the Lord's judgment. The Most High, visiting this earth by storm and tempest. And America, aside from, the aftermath of the flooding, America's in World War III. And it's only 5 months from now, America enters 250. And you can forget it. It's already coming apart right now. And it's only going to get worse. It's going to get worse until the day of the Lord. Okay? But with that, I'm going to give all praise, honor, and glory to the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Yahweh, Bashem, Yahushai. Double honors to the mighty men, the elders, and the apostles in the community, waking up the lost sheep, the house of Israel in these last days. Peace and blessings to everyone doing this truth and humbleness and sincerity. Israel, I love y'all. We got next. Shalom.